do do. Hello. Hello. Do 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 do. So anyway, I'm doing this mic test to figure out how bad the mic is working. Testing, 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 testing. So anyway, I'm doing this mic test to figure out how bad the mic is working. Testing, 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 testing. So anyway, I'm doing this mic test to figure out how bad the mic is working.
Dreams before they hung him from the gallows. These
Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
This is them too.
Hello, welcome to the
Beautiful
Spectrum.
man.
Hello, hello.
Definitely has the jawline.
Yeah.
Look how cute they are.
Also, definitely a vampire. Get out of there.
And the pouty lips too. Why does he have this lips that are so pouty?
Aw, look
So-
at how in love they are. They're in love. They're in love.
Honored viewers, welcome
me
back
just
to
like
the Spectrum.
Honored.
Today we have a special guest, my very good
I
friend
also showed them this one.
H. We'll just call you H.
Because we totally haven't name dropped every single person here.
We've name dropped everyone on the planet. And my mom. My mom and this guy named Mountain are like our most favorite listeners.
I try not to say anything too weird.
How have y'all's days been?
They're fine.
Great.
You can speak, you know, like it's a 360 mic.
And it's been pretty good.
Great. Okay.
I went and skipped class for like the 1,000th time.
Yay! I support that.
My
I love-
senioritis has been so bad. I'm just.
I have
If-
no desire to make a point above a C on my thesis.
Same. Oh, I made a D on my thesis.
Let's go.
Oh my god.
D's make degrees.
Yes.
If I wake up for my fucking 9 a.m. Chinese class and I don't feel good, I just go back to bed. At this point, I've stopped writing
You
the.
have Chinese at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, it's a Chinese religion
I
class.
have no idea.
Yeah,
you
but it's
did.
Laosha. She don't care.
I love Lao Shu's based as shit.
As long as you actually try when you show up, she
I
does
try.
not care.
I try and she likes me anyway, and I'm like she was making fun of me because I talked about how I liked wearing a mask in New York City because I felt like the car fumes weren't suffocating me. And she's like, ha ha ha, you a country boy. I'm from Shanghai. I breathed in so much shit. I'm like, she says my lungs are black and filled with metal.
That's so sad.
She loves talking about how. So our buddy Zach, he'll be here soon. He went to China with her, and she likes to tell him the story of like, haha, you see that river? I used to play in that when I was a kid. Now it's black.
It used to have fish, and now it's filled with garbage and human remains.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
See, this is why 2 billion people is just too many.
It's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
In
Hey,
China.
Emma, can you bring my backpack from over there? Yeah, in China. Yeah, China's population is like...
There's also India.
India is, I think, just a little bit over 1 billion.
It's still pretty bad.
India's like the most overpopulated for its. I mean,
I don't know.
Tokyo is the
Yeah.
most overpopulated, but they're not living in the conditions people
Yeah,
in
the problem with
India
China
are.
is a lot of the people live in the major cities, like, but most of their population is rural.
Wait.
India is kind of the opposite. Large majority is in the larger cities.
It'll be okay. Just plug it in behind the air fryer, dude. Okay, so China... Oh, I'm wrong. My bad. China's at 1.4 billion, roughly. That's pretty far away from 2. India, 1.38 billion. And the third runner-up is the United States at 329 million. So that's like...
Holy crap!
Yeah, that is a big
That's a
gap.
Yeah, that's a gap.
Don't put it on heater. Put it, yeah,
Wait, is that a heat?
it's a heater. Yeah.
Oh, and this. Okay.
Okay, is Zach here?
Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Chris is our like
Look out.
lookout security guard.
Where's Raven?
Raven will be late, unfortunately. That's good. That we have good man talk plus Emma.
Samantha.
I was gonna mention this earlier, but I was thinking about how you gave me your car for that vacation, and I'm just like,
Bad idea.
that's
Good friend.
that's actually you're a great friend, but it's actually super retarded. Like
You gave Dave
it's
a
on
vehicle
the.
that you rely on.
I know, right? It's like, of course I treat that thing like better than my own car because I knew Hess needed it. But I'm thinking, would I do that for a friend with my Camaro? No, but
I mean, that's the difference. You have a Camaro. I have a 2006 Mercury Montego.
which is $3,000, folks. We'll get a better deal, especially with used car prices these days. That's a steal.
Yeah, that's like a $30,000 car.
Yeah, there's a $60,000 car on the right market.
Yours?
No, yours.
60,000?
We're joking.
We're kidding. Ah,
Okay, I was like, what the hell?
What are you doing, David?
trying to suck water out of this backpack.
You
Oh,
had
it's
me
Camelback?
get your backpack for that. Is that?
I bet the water's warm.
You can ask for a glass of water.
Zach will microwave water so he can drink warm water.
I definitely have done that a lot.
That's so
Because
cursed.
warm water is a good drink.
So
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. And we're going to show that. That's going to fuck the mic up. Like,
It's not that loud.
just no. Just point it towards. It's okay. Let me check it for our listeners to see how the listening quality is.
they don't want to hear.
I guess that's fair.
Alright, guys.
Remember the rules for this pod.
This is
If
Hessel's
someone
drink.
is talking and you interrupt them,
I
and
still
start
got wet
talking,
hands, but
I don't care.
if
Okay.
multiple people are talking at the
you
same
doing?
time, I will be
Okay, so I want to set some ground rules because I want us to be a political podcast. Number one, only attack people's idea, not who they are as a person.
Or if they're bad people.
Number two, no racial slurs. You can only use ableist slurs.
But it was supposed to be heated.
white here. How are we going to use racist slurs? No, Chris, in the podcast.
Finally passing.
Wrong.
Wrong.
But what if the person with the bad ideas is a bad person, like Ben Carson?
And yeah, so here's how this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk to the people here. So here's how this works. I'm pretty sure I'm probably the most left-leaning person at the table. Heston's the most conservative, and you guys are. By most conservative, I don't mean by like a really conservative. I wouldn't consider you really conservative. Like
I don't know who Ben Carson is. Who's that?
he ran for president in 2016. He's a neurosurgeon, the black neurosurgeon guy.
Oh, never mind. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Try to stab
I had
his
to
mom.
read his.
Or try to bludgeon his mom with a hammer.
Wait,
What the
what?
heck?
This what'd she do?
Did he succeed?
Did he succeed?
Dave, you want to reword that to what you really meant? Did she deserve it?
yeah. Oh, hell, why'd you piss him off?
I
That's
can't
the,
remember.
Well, what'd she do?
He also almost stabbed a kid.
wait, what?
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that he talked about how he
yeah, it broke on the kid's belt buckle because it was like a $4 knife.
Ben Carson, like he told the story himself. He's like, I was an angry, stupid black kid, and I'm like, this isn't relevant to the debate at all. Why did you bring this up?
Start this. He broke it on his kid's belt buckle,
Yeah.
so he's trying to stab his
Yeah.
crotch.
Well,
He's trying to
He
stab
tried
his-
to gut stab him, but
Oh,
he like is bad at using his body apparently at that time. Fucking genius neurosurgeon now,
Ben.
but
So, are you guys abreast of the?
Oh, wait, are we live?
We're live.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys abreast on the information about the current breast of the current French election?
why the fuck would we talk about the French election?
Because it's batshit insane.
Tell us.
So as far as I know, I have no respect for the French people, the French government, or the French way of life. But it is interesting.
He said we're not
We
going to be
agree on
attacking
this.
people.
Well, French people,
French.
they're not people, my friend. Come on, this is basic biology. However, but, so the current French president Emmanuel Macron is the
Macaron.
macaroni is the is the liberal president of France for the Liberal Party, and the person he's running against is Marie Le Pen. Her party's the Conservative Party, and she is currently neck and neck with him in polls. There is a 2% difference, which is within the margin of error. She could very well win. The problem is, her party currently owes $8 million to the Russian government
Why?
because the Russian government gave them money,
Or what?
campaign contributions, so they could like advertise effectively and stuff.
Yeah, for further than like middle right parties in Europe, that's pretty common for them to get a lot of Russian money.
Yes.
Is that suspicious?
Well, it's common. Like Russia finances far right parties all across Europe.
And in America.
Oh.
Yes, allegedly.
Bullshit.
If anyone disagrees, please voice your opinion. There will be no dogpiling.
For goddamn Russian shills.
And so, Macron stands for nothing. He's weak and lame. But Le Pen is worse because she wants to pull out of NATO. So it's like, shit.
Dude, I
Wait,
know.
why? Because of her Russian money? Wait, I
Yeah.
thought the man had Russian money.
No, Macron
woman.
does not. Macron is a shit liberal.
Macron has no money.
Macron is a stupid liberal who has fulfilled none of his promises. Le Pen is
But he didn't bang his teacher.
He
He
did-
married his
no,
teacher.
wait,
He
wait.
married his teacher.
Yeah, I know his
Yeah.
wife is.
Oh yeah, she's like
his high
significantly
school
older.
like
than
25 years older than he is, and they
Nice.
met when he was her high school student.
Aw,
Poggers.
Romeo.
He's got my vote.
I'd vote for
Chad.
him if I were French.
The last French president, there was a scandal of him cheating on his wife, because he was caught getting onto a woman's moped and driving away with her from the French presidential palace. It's like the most.
Is that not allowed?
It was the most French affair ever.
Isn't that
Yeah.
like...
It's also if he had walked out and gave her a baguette, that's the only way it could have been more
We've
French.
talked about this on the podcast, right? About how, the idea that if every woman found out about just how many affairs the man had, it would, ruin the French family.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't remember the exact wording of it.
I
Well-
thought affairs were, allowed, though, in French culture, so it
Well,
wouldn't...
not
DNA test would ruin the modern family.
Yeah, no. France, the government banned DNA tests because they said it's a threat to the French society because so many children are not so many fathers are raising children they think are theirs but they're not. So France is like, shit. We can't fund all the litigation that would happen nationwide. Oh my god.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
And all the murders.
So Heston,
I would say they're actually neck and neck, though.
they're actually 2% difference.
Mm.
So it's like you have a racist liberal, a racist fascist, a racist communist.
Oh, that's not the fascist. We talked about, what's his name, Zemmour?
Yes, no, we didn't have a Zemmour. Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
I don't even know this.
He is.
Raven,
oh,
you have to get that metal
Raven.
chair.
Hello.
I know, right? It's the fucking AC's broke.
But this other guy who's running for the French presidency is, I don't remember the name of the party, but it is pretty much as far right as you go, as he wants to repatriate everyone in the country who's not French.
Oh,
Like, Moroccans gone, Algerians gone, Polish people gone, all of them out.
okay, that last one I'm okay with, but the other
Not the other two.
No.
It's like 30% of the population.
who's
a lot of people.
what about all their kebab technicians?
I know, dude. But the weird part is, it's this most... It's the most comically far right party that you can think of, and Zemmour always he'll say things in the media just like, the only reason they're actually allowing me to get on here is because I'm Jewish. I'm like, okay, he is Jewish, which is so weird. It's just as.
So does he
again,
believe in the Jewish question, but just he's not a part of it or something?
No, he's like, yeah, no, Jews are properly French, and have always been.
Got any problem with that logic?
I don't.
Genius.
This guy is, if I remember correctly, he was polling decently higher than you think that he would.
Yeah, I think he's in the
higher than he should.
Yeah, because I
I'll
thought.
pull up the charts for the viewers. We have 5 people in chat right now. So
Wow.
Hey, Chad.
hey, chat. Okay.
Hey, chat.
Poster you're gonna vote for in the next French election.
All of our French viewers.
You know what's fun? You know for the quality of life index, France is near 30th place in the world. It's behind Qatar.
Oy vey.
What they? Who are these flowers from?
My-
Chris's boyfriend.
Chris's incredibly attractive boyfriend.
Yes.
I think
Thank you, Chris's boy.
Thank you, Chris's boyfriend.
Flowers.
That we all get to enjoy.
Oh, so we have Mercant. This is from Reuters. Cool, not. This is from Reuters. Macron's at 26, Le Pen's 22, and Jean-Luc Michelin. I don't know. Michelin.
Like
Yes.
the tires.
I like how you were trying so hard to pronounce it.
As French as possible.
Tristan was
Emmanuel Macron, Marine Le Pen, and this guy. Okay. Oh, Zemmour's got 9%.
9%.
9%.
It went up. It was at 7% last time I checked.
No.
Okay, so Macron's going down and Le Pen's going up. The viewers can see it. I don't care about showing you guys.
Send me the link to the pod.
Okay. Oh, well, our viewer.
The pod.
Hello, pod.
Hello, pod.
Raven's
So-
here now.
Now let's get into the real nitty gritty.
I am Raven.
Now, the French election will happen on April 10th, which could be very bad for NATO if Le Pen wins.
Why?
Because Le Pen wants to pull out of NATO.
Oh, that's not
To
good.
be fair, I think France does have decent arguments for why.
What are
'cause
the
it's-
arguments?
Because it's like, of NATO, it was pretty much set up that, not officially, but the US, the UK, and France were the big heads of NATO with pretty much equal power in saying, okay, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this.
Yes.
And as NATO has gone on, it has become essentially an American institution that everyone else, like, they pay into to get the military.
Yeah.
France, on the other hand, has repeatedly asked NATO help in its incursions into its previous colonies.
Yeah,
Which-
because
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like the invasion of Mali, that was what, 2011?
yeah, that no one knows about. Yeah.
That no one knows about, except for people from Mali. In the capital, it was like 98% of people supported the French coming in and liberating them from Islamists. And it's a lot of stuff like that that they think that NATO should help with, whereas we, on the other hand, we bombed Kosovo. Everyone gets in on that.
That was really cool. No, wait, have you guys heard the Kosovo friendship song?
Oh, it's good.
No.
I might go to the Peace Corps there.
In Kosovo? Hell
Is
yeah.
that the one where they're like, we love America?
No, they love America. Okay, I'm gonna
Legend.
I'm gonna play a little bit of the Kosovo friendship song for you guys
I'm
because
excited.
it is the best thing. The Kosovo intervention is probably the most morally correct thing America's done in the past like 30 years.
Because bordering countries are like, so are you sneaking in right now from these countries? And so it's a long process.
They're gonna test you, make sure you're not a Serb.
Yeah, I know nothing about Serbia. They're like,
Oh,
so are you
shit.
sneaking in right now from these
Better
countries?
be-
Whoa! You do not sound like that.
They're gonna test you, make sure you're not a Serb.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Well, okay, so I want this podcast to be controversial. Go. So we talked about France, maybe pulling out of NATO, Le Pen wins. Now, if Trump runs in
He's
2024,
not gonna run.
he will run.
Oh, he's definitely going to run.
Heston, do you think Trump's going to run in 2024?
Knowing that man, yes. And knowing he's going to win the primary for... So it's going to be Trump versus Biden again.
Biden better not fucking
I don't
run.
think so.
No,
Biden's
no,
gonna die.
they need to like
Oh, no,
genetically
it's not so
engineer a new neoliberal like Bill Clinton, like out of the bat.
So we can bomb Belgrade again?
Yeah, hello, my name is Mark.
Mark Smith.
Mark Smith. Yeah, he could win.
That's the thing.
Arkansas representative, let's go.
So would you vote for Trump again in 2024?
If it was against Joe, then yes.
I don't think they're going to pick Joe again.
Joe's too old.
He's just... He did what... Okay, people are like super upset with Joe Biden. I think that he accomplished what he came in to do, and that was to take Trump out of office. That was his purpose.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people expected more, they're kind of expecting too much from that old man. He is very old.
He's
He hasn't done a lot of bad things, but he did promise a lot of things that he has not fulfilled. fulfilled. Like they're
Almost
thinking about
every president has done that.
That's
except
really
for
par
Trump.
for the course.
like the fact that they postponed student loan payments until I believe it was supposed to be February of 2022, and now they postponed it to May. They just put out a new thing today that they're going to postpone it until August. So he just keeps kicking the can down the road, and instead of just taking care of this temporary policy, like either reinstate it or do some loan forgiveness. Those are two options. But he knows that if he reinstates the interest, that he's going to lose everybody in the fucking college age because they're going to, okay, well now you're fucking us again. But if he does loan forgiveness, he's going to lose a lot of moderate to right-leaning people because
They don't like loan forgiveness. It's because like right-leaning people vote
But the fact
for.
that he's just not doing it is upsetting. Like he needs to have a hard stance. He's not having a hard stance.
I'm just frustrated they couldn't get Build Back Better off the ground, but that was mainly on Congress, not really him. Build Back Better. I just want I want high-speed rail. Damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
What were you saying, Heston? Sorry.
I was gonna say that. I mean, I really didn't expect Joe Biden to really do anything at all.
You thought he
Because
would?
honestly, Joe Biden's an old guy, but he's kind of just a politician that has been his occupation for the past 1,000 years.
Yes.
He just at this point just wanted to be president before he died, and he did that, and now he can
He's
die
also
peacefully.
the only person who could have won because he's the
Yes.
only one with name recognition in the Democratic Party that doesn't have a major scandal.
Well,
I don't
and
think
he can pull the
I wish
moderate.
Yang would have won.
No, I do not wish Yang would have won. But
Why?
Okay, Andrew Yang. Okay.
He had so far left
Let me-
ideology that fucking Bernie was like, calm down.
No, Andrew Yang. He
I
was
wanted to
just
see what would have
He
happened.
was just like
That's
a,
what
he's
I'm
just a
like. We had
libertarian.
Trump,
He was just a
now let's get
libertarian.
Yang.
He was just a libertarian Trojan horse. I don't think any of his policies would have been that effective.
No, that's the thing, is that I don't agree that it would have to be Biden, because I think Heston's right. I think the only electoral mandate, no one gave a shit about a lot of the stuff that Biden was saying, it's just that he's not Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And the electoral mandate is now completed, which is really one of the only few times that's ever happened in U.S. history, is that he's done everything that people have voted him for.
Yeah, they voted him to beat Trump, and he
Yes.
did.
Which he's
yeah.
very milquetoast.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably
He's a very bland white man.
yeah. Which
Literally, when I think of Joe Biden, the synonym is limp. I think limp. A limp man.
Milk bread.
People would really, really love Joe Biden if he had come in and things would have just kind of leveled out and been stable. And I know that's not his fault, but unfortunately a lot of shit has happened and it's not been that great.
Like the gas prices going up. It's
And
like
that's not entirely his fault, but some of it is. So, I mean,
And there's not a lot he can do about the gas price.
oh yeah, the problem is it's like the supply chain shit happened because no correlation doesn't equal causation. He got into office as the pandemic led up, so people were buying more stuff. Damn it! And people were buying more stuff, so naturally, the system couldn't handle the sudden inflow of new purchases.
I do think Joe Biden has really kind of sucked economically though, because he was given an economy that was made to bounce back after the pandemic, and it really hasn't done that well.
How was
Well,
it
you gotta
made to
remember, he's
bounce
also
back
in his
after
first
the
year.
pandemic?
He's in his
What?
first years of his policy changes, and anything economic will take several years to have shown any fruits.
Yeah.
Like economic changes take a lot of time to actually
Yeah,
start
whenever
rolling.
Trump got into office, the economy was about to be good because
Because of 8 years of Obama.
yeah,
Yeah, Obama had good economic reforms, and Trump also had reforms that were good for a growing economy too.
They had good sectors.
Yes.
A lot of other sectors did very bad because of his trade deals and his embargoes and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
god, that part was so dumb. If
Like
the trade-
Steele was not very happy.
Yes, as a scrap farmer, I felt that pain
Yeah.
when the steal happened.
He had a very dumb decision that hurt
I
a lot
don't
of people.
understand why people when you're voting, thinking long term is so much better than thinking short term. But people have a problem thinking long term. Long term
Well,
thinking does not happen.
Well, the majority of a good portion of Americans can't think past gas prices high. current guy.
But the thing about that is, with the two-party system, that
Period.
necessarily, it's
Yeah.
you can't bank on the long term, because if you only have two options,
Which
it's
is
either
so
A
shitty.
or B. There's no compromise. So if you plan for long term, if another party goes in, it switches.
And our
They
terms
can-
are so short, we can't
Yeah.
get actual reform. And like I said, the economic upturn at the end of Obama's presidency was after 8 years of carefully constructed reforms that we're now starting to see a downturn now, and an accelerated downturn because of the pandemic and all the global economic stress that it was under. It's had an accelerated downturn, which probably wouldn't have been as bad if the pandemic hadn't hit. But now we're going to have to see another like decade-long reform chain to get the economy back to a very stable and hopefully not an economy based off of a 6.5% inflation rate.
Oh.
Holy fuck balls.
My money's worth so much less.
Yes.
I should have invested in Bitcoin. I was a fool.
But my gold is worth the same.
Oh my god.
We had an investment broker come in and explain our 401ks to us this week, and she was like, yeah, you could invest in gold. That's speculative. It's stupid. Gold's going to be the same price always. It's like, oh, sure.
Reject fiat currency, embrace tradition. Imagine we just start trading in precious metal. You want to go to McDonald's? I have like 5 copper pieces. We could probably.
5 copper pieces.
My,
Many astral diamonds.
when I'm out with my nerd friends and my normal friends, and I have to resist the urge not to steal a 12-kilogram spool of copper wire from a construction site.
That's just your scrap brain.
No, it's
I
like
think that's just you.
Wait, were you the? Oh yeah, we talked about this. I think it was last week. Emma, come here. We need your IUD.
Give me your IUD.
For the copper.
Not in this economy.
God.
Yeah, I like how copper just randomly decides to kill sperm. That's why it's in there.
Oh. I really need to go to the doctor.
You've been ingesting
I have a copper rod I use to maintain my erection. No, I'm kidding.
I've been slowly eating pennies.
To
A penny a day
To build up
keeps the
immunity.
sperm away.
Yeah, this is a political podcast, guys.
yeah. Okay. So, what's your most controversial political opinion? Anyone?
Most
As in,
controversial.
like, anything?
Anything?
I think that we should be harder on illegal immigration, but it should be easier for people to work in the United States legally.
Ooh. Kind of agree with that statement.
Yeah, because illegal immigrants are a strain on the economy while also being a boost to it in a way. We have a friend who is firmly for illegal immigrants. He's basically of the opinion that illegal immigrants are a constant in the system that have to be there. And I have to keep explaining to him that you don't build systems with the idea of the system only working when there's a workaround to the system that works through it. He's very
All I'm saying is,
interesting.
Wait,
how
what?
would
No, wait,
how-
I got confused. because
Exactly.
Yeah.
He thinks that the only reason our economy works is because of the untaxed, cheap labor of unpaid illegal immigrants. And he thinks that our economy would work the same without it. But the thing is, our economy was built to work without it. So his suggestion that it can't work without it means that we built a system that was intended to work outside of the system.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like putting a diesel engine in a Tesla
Yeah. And if
saying
you
you're
got
still
rid
an
of-
electric car.
Okay, so if you got rid of that component, like the system would work better. Question mark?
Potentially, the tax revenue would be, of course, great
Yes.
from the new taxable labor, and then illegal immigrants.
Also, a lot of the like whenever you're an illegal immigrant and you're working, like you get paid underneath the table.
Oh, you get paid
Yeah.
way less than you would. But
Exactly.
that's okay. So I want to speak up here a bit because I'm a country boy. I grew up surrounded by mini farms, strawberry fields, and cornfields, and without illegal immigrants,
They would not work.
there are jobs that would not get done. Like shit would not be
true.
harvested. So it's like
Shit would not be harvested.
shit would
The
not.
crop would not flourish.
I know, and I have a lot of respect for people that are willing to like come here and work for pennies on the dollar.
Literally.
Well, that's
But
basically our friend's position.
but there's like,
however,
how do you make sure like how do you find workers to replace those illegal migrants? Like,
work visa.
Yes, he's saying
When you
that.
have work visas, you can only work in that one sector.
yeah, so we
So
need
you
more
come in on
work
agricultural
visas.
work
Yes,
visas.
Yeah.
make the visas work better.
Yes.
And this is obviously targeted towards Mexico, but there's illegal immigrants from all countries.
Yeah, because
So
the
that's
most
just one
common,
situation where I'm
because the most common form of illegal immigration is visa overstay.
yeah.
Yeah, which that's also a thing with the visas, though. Is that why they don't want to give out too many visas? Because visas, if you have a green card in the United States, you have pretty much the same protections and obligations that citizens do. Like,
Except you can't vote.
you can't vote. Essentially, yeah, as a felon would. You can't own guns either, but you still obviously
My
pay
daddy
taxes.
finds a
You
way.
still get. Damn right.
Stop!
The migrant.
Stop calling out your dad's felonies on air. I don't.
Guess when his
do it,
birthday
but
is? Guess when his birthday
say it.
is?
9/11.
No.
Oh my god.
April Fool's
Yes.
Day. His whole life's been a joke.
Oh my god!
Sorry, Daddy.
Except for when
He's
he
not
had
gonna
you.
listen.
That's it. I mean, oh
That's
wait,
it.
there's two before me. I forgot about that. Anyways, sorry.
What was I yelling about? So that they have the same tax obligation, but they also have the same minimum wage obligations. They have the same work law obligations. They get Social Security, and they also, if you did not know this, men, if you have a green card and you're a man, you have to sign up for the draft. So it's
especially going
all
here.
of these weird things.
Well, that's a green card, not a visa, though.
A visa, yeah, that's what a green card is a work visa in the U.S.
Really? Because
Yep.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
no,
Believe it or not.
I know of people who have gotten work visas and worked in the United States and then worked towards their green card, their citizenship.
No, a green card is a work visa.
Yeah,
I had
that's
to,
not
I had to
citizenship.
help in China with explaining the system. Yeah, citizenship is just citizenship. Green card is a work visa that, if you have it long, it's essentially having a card instead of having a stamp in your passport.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
Weird.
It's like, yeah, having a driver's license or having an ID or just having your social security number. But they're all the same thing at the end.
Okay.
And so the argument for that is that someone like our friend would argue the lack of duties, but also the lack of duties for, is what is good about that system. Like, you don't really have to provide them with labor laws or pay them a lot of money.
Dun,
OSHA
dun,
doesn't
dun.
care about illegal immigrants.
That's what you. That's why you need them. You need people to do like the shit jobs that I worked when I was a kid, with no safety or fair pay or regulations.
Yeah. See,
Hell yeah.
that's the Marxist argument. It
Ever
just sets up
ever almost
class
been
system.
crushed to death by a dump truck? It's exhilarating.
No.
They have no. I'm like that. No, I've literally almost died so many times. That's why. Like, I remember one time. Redacted. I don't want to say it. Oh, it's fine.
yeah, anyway, but
I can totally like
that's
relate to that.
Yeah, no, it's like working with your dad. It's-
My dad has almost killed me about 10 times.
I know, right?
My dad's like, hey, you want to... He's justifying everything, yes. He's like, hey, you want to climb that, like building that's 100 years old and get some of the, like, sheet metal off the top of it? And just, like, walk freely on a 100-year-old building and just, like, take the sheet metal.
With no safety
Cut
harness.
myself on
no.
the sheet metal.
Fuck!
Don't get a tetanus shot. He's like, good job, boy.
Good job, boy.
For me, like one time, so my dad was trying to scrap this wooden trailer. Like it's a trailer with metal frame, wooden floor, and so I was up on top, like trying to cut the bolts off with a torch. I was on top of a trailer that was in the back of another semi-trailer that was filled up with like crushed cars. So I was standing on like balanced stones, and then my dad was like, and when we were almost late to the mill, I'm like, I'm trying to be like as fast as I can. Kind of, my friend Julian's up there too because he was like had another torch, and then my dad just like. Frustrated probably because we're taking too long, and just takes his like shear and starts jamming the trailer into the thing while me and Julian are on there. So we're bouncing around, and I'm just like hanging on to it. And Julian he looks at me and goes, "We're gonna die." I'm like, it's fine. This is like a week before I started college too. It was like my last day I worked with my dad.
My God.
This is why Dave is here. Julian is not.
He was trying to kill you so you wouldn't have to pay anything for college.
Oh my gosh.
No, you know, like before college, my old man asked me, he's like, "Are you sure you're mature enough to go?" Are you sure? He's like, "Do you want to wait until you're 25?" Like, fuck no, I'd rather die than like actual.
He's like, I can help
We're
you.
not even there yet. Jesus.
Yeah, actual line. Yeah.
I am.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Tristan's now 25.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you guys
Oh,
ever
man.
feel like the Black Lives Matter movement kind of had some muddled messaging that ended up not being super effective at institutional change?
Well,
Absolutely.
there have been studies recently that a lot of this neoliberal pushback towards, all sorts of different reforms, including Black Lives Matter and the LGBT movement, has actually caused a lot of backlash.
Yes.
Like LGBT hate is highest now than it has been in like the past decade
Wait,
Yes.
why?
because of
It's complicated.
it's complicated. People don't
I hate that
understand.
You
word.
need, we need like a person with a sociology degree who's
Yeah.
researched this to like.
Something that I was thinking about earlier is that it seems like the left, every time they want a solution to something, they want it enacted right now to the fullest extent with no integration period. Like, you must
Yes.
accept everything right now. You must accept it 100%, and you must have no issues with it.
and
And if you
which is
do,
not-
you're homophobic.
and
Exactly.
Americans can't handle that rapid. We're a very conservative
can.
country.
No
yeah.
one can handle that rapid change. Humans can't handle that rapid change. Ideological shifts take a long time, and we discussed this earlier. But that's something that humans in general don't understand. We live such finite lives. Like, we live an average of 90 years. That's not a long time. I mean, at all. But it takes that long period of adjustment for us to actually get to a place of stability. So, like, yes, we do need social reforms for these peoples that are oppressed. However, when you push it all in this one way so quickly within the last 10 years, there's going to be pushback, and there's going to be strong pushback from the very aggressive and those who are moderate, especially if they're like, I have some reservations about this. Oh, well, you're a horrible person. You're a homophobe.
You
You're
are.
basically a sexist and a racist.
Well, you are.
Well, then you start.
are.
Then there's the
Yes.
discrimination,
That is 100% correct.
and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm being treated as a bad person. I know that I'm not a bad person, so they must be bad people."
Yes.
So it causes that backlash, that
Well,
mental barrier, because
Well, the thing is,
no
like,
one knows how to confront that.
like a lot of people, especially young people on the far left that have grown up in these like isolated communities, like college, have no idea how conservative the American electorate actually is. It's like it's pretty much 50-50 down the middle. You have like neoliberals and conservatives. That's the majority of the country, I would wager, or fit into one of those two categories. And I don't know, like movements like what was I remember like one of the key messages from BLM wasn't like. It was just, we need to remove all policing everywhere, and we should listen to black people. Those are the two things people chanted. I'm like, I understand. It's okay. It's great. It's important to listen to marginalized voices, but that is not a solution. That is steps to realizing a solution.
Yeah,
That's like the step number one.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Like, people are willing to scream in each other's faces, but they aren't willing to actually, like, implement steps to make a change or look at what's actually happening.
because they want it right now.
Yes, exactly. Because they want it right now, and a lot of people just want to argue. They don't want to listen to anything anyone actually has
There's
to
no
say.
room for nuance. Like, I always thought the ACAB slogan was dumb. Like, guys, I really want to live in a world where police exist, but I mean, like,
I agree. Whenever I found out what ACAB meant, and people were just like putting it everywhere, like, why?
all cops are bastards.
Oh, I thought you were saying ANCAP.
No,
no.
it's just
Yeah,
useless.
you must have known. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have a lot of criticisms of American policing practices. I have a lot of American policing practices, but I think a lot of that could be solved with kind of inversely. I think being a cop should not be a job a high school graduate can get. You need to have some sort of like secondary education. You need to go through more training. It needs to be like a higher paid position.
If they're
It
gonna
does
treat-
need to be
yeah,
a higher paid
yeah,
position.
If they're
I
going to
agree.
treat it like a military, treat it like a military.
Like-
4 years of training, specialization, rigorous psychological evaluations
Yes.
for the position.
And I think better physical fitness should be required for cops.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, there has to be, like, it's a non-zero number of shootings occur because the cop knows he cannot physically, restrain the suspect.
Not even
So
just
it's
that.
just easier to
all
shoot
the,
him.
all the shootings I ever see, all the shootings you ever see online, it's obvious that the fucking cop's scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
the
Like
cop
they're shaking.
is not aware of the situation enough. It doesn't have the situational awareness or the training to deal with these high-stress, combative situations. I mean, cops obviously have a very hard job. They're in a high-stress situation constantly. However, that's your job. That's your life. You are trained to deal in that situation, hopefully. And if you are reacting as a civilian would, why are you there?
Exactly. Like, you need...
You are the specialist.
Also,
you can't act as a
I want to...
civilian.
Isn't it weird how, like, Conway has just, like, occasionally these crazy police battles that... Like, okay, last summer, there was a guy walking down Dave Ward with an AK-47 shooting at cop cars.
What the? I did not know.
Yeah,
about that.
you know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
I do remember that now. It's like, oh god.
And
Yeah, I
then,
think I remember that, actually.
and then, like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's... Like, but if you look at...
I don't remember this. I did not know that happened. That is.
Conway's crazy. Like, Conway can be kind of crazy.
Anyway.
Little Rock in general is a really bad city. I'm happy of cops in Little Rock. We need them there. It's like a video game. Like, Emma, weren't you saying?
Well, that's kind of true of almost every city.
Well, no. Little Rock is more
Major city.
dangerous than like
very
Chicago.
very high crime rate.
Yeah, it's no.
I think it was.
shooting. Yeah,
I think it was University was named the most deadly street in America up until they cut it and renamed the part that was bad.
yeah,
That is
For
the
real?
worst
Yeah,
solution.
they did that.
sounds. What?
yeah.
The University was the deadliest street in America.
Like in proportion. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
per capita.
Per capita.
Yeah, no, because like, you know, like if you have a city like Chicago that has like 4 million people, and they have like, you know, a couple hundred murders a year, and you have a city like Little Rock which has less than 250,000, and you have like 70 murders a year. That's the percentage is way higher.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's why.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, Little Rock is fucking scary. Like,
I remember when we first started going to Little Rock, when I first started working there and started going to bars in there. We were walking down the River Market,
Yeah.
and
The
literally,
River Market is a scary place.
it's
every-
nice in the day. It's nice
It's
in
nice in the
yes,
day.
like midday when all the stores are
Then
open.
dusk hits.
every corner we hit, somebody was there asking for money. Like, hey, I can't eat today. I need money. It's like, listen, dude, I gave all my cash to guy 3 blocks up. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't have that much cash on me.
Share
And,
with
like,
me.
they were very nice. None of them like screamed or yelled at us. Like, obviously they're just dejected people, but like, it was a scary situation. Because like, I don't want this guy to go fucking mug the guy 3 blocks up. Because I just told him that. It's
Yeah.
like, but I legitimately don't have cash.
There's been 2 prominent missing persons cases in Little Rock too. There's like the one guy who was driving.
There's a serial killer in Arkansas.
Yeah, driving from Utah to New Orleans, broke down North Little Rock and went missing. They haven't found him yet. And then another guy went missing last week. They still haven't found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But missing persons cases aren't necessarily unheard of.
Yes.
It's bad.
But there was like a shootout at a pizza place a few weeks ago, and like.
Man, by the way, just to put this out there, I've been unfortunately listening to a murder mystery podcast with my buddy at work because he
I thought.
refuses
oh, yeah,
to
okay,
allow
there
me
we
to
go.
not.
He refuses. There we go.
he's
Call
like,
back.
Not by choice.
he at least lets me skip the ones where it involves like children. I don't.
The ones with
fucks
children
that.
actually make me nauseous. Like I feel
One
like
of
I'm
them
gonna
started
vomit.
with, "All right, guys, today we're gonna look into the foster care system and see how brutally fucked up it is." I was like,
Oh my God,
turn
I
it
was-
off right now."
I
That is
listened
too
to a
relatable.
podcast about the foster care system and like adoption and stuff, and
It's
how
fucked.
yeah, there was this
It's uber fucked.
I almost vomited. Hallie.
But
Yeah.
there's apparently a human trafficking scheme going on. It's been going on for years, and the FBI has like they can't track it very well. If you ever go on a date with a guy you haven't met, like you talk to him, or like he's a prospective roommate or a prospective like hookup, something like that, and he does not show up, but before he like cancels on you, he tells you to order 2 shots of Fireball, and a guy comes up to you and like tries to make the moves on you, that guy is going to be human trafficking.
Wow, good to know.
I would
This
never
is a-
order 2 shots of Fireball, so I will not be trafficked.
Exactly.
Trafficked.
Apparently, it's a scheme where guys will go to bars, they'll sit down, and like once a week, their partner will scam a girl to go into the bar. The code that they're looking for is 2 shots of Fireball. They'll cancel and like delete their number and delete their notifications and like basically purge their burner phone. And the guy will come up to him and is like, "Hey, did you get stood up? Well, let me buy you dinner." And then they'll slip and Mickey into their drinks and they'll take them out because they're too plastered. And multiple bars have caught on to this, and they've beaten the shit out of guys and like rescued girls. And it's like there's no telling how many people they got a hold of.
Wow.
You can't really arrest them because like the missing person cases might not be open. It's really horrible.
So if I hear someone order 2 shots of Fireball, I need to like watch out for them, or will they not?
You need to
I won't
shoot
be
the
near
nearest
them?
man next to
Okay.
him. like,
Can you imagine Emma running at full force and tackling a man in the bar?
That sounds so
I
fun.
can imagine her bouncing off a dude.
Bouncing off, what does that mean? Like jumping, like
Yeah.
with
Like
my feet.
you
like,
would not
moving
have enough
around.
inertia to move them. You just
Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely would fall on the
See,
ground. if I
my
tried to
my
do that.
respect for other men is completely dependent on if I think I can kick their ass. It's like and how much of a contest it'll be. It's like, would it be an even fight? I respect him. Would he beat me? I respect him. Would I destroy him? No respect.
That is so true for you, actually.
No. What'd you say?
R.I.P. Norman.
I know, right? No, it's like
Oh, sorry, bud.
Norman always knew I could
You
kill
don't listen
him.
to this.
No, he did.
Norman always knew I could.
He knew I could.
See,
You
my
never
problem
gonna kill
is
him.
I look at a man and I immediately think, yeah, I can fucking take him.
Raven always thinks she
I
can
think
fight
that
him.
inside my head. I think I could hurt him. Like
That is
in
a
my
very
head.
dangerous
You
mindset.
think I don't understand that? Everyone's always so scared at nighttime, and like girls walking in parking lots. And I'm like, no, a man comes up to me, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
Like,
Sigma male,
I
Sigma male.
I'm literally 5'3" and like 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Why
Nice.
in my head do I think I can fuck you up? Like every man at this table, I'm like,
You can
if I
take
need
him.
you as hard as I motherfucking could, if I could just get you at the right point, I
Exactly.
could end
If you
you.
could
You had the statistical anomaly.
I know,
could win.
I know,
If
and
you-
I
if
don't
you-
know
if you could
why
just
in my
put
brain.
all of your technique into one hard ball shot, you probably
It takes
Ugh.
statistically, it
Practicing
takes
this
the
for
top
years.
10% of women to match the bottom 10% of males.
I am top
Damn.
10.
Physical contact.
That is so much.
Raven-
worse
true?
than I
That
Have
is
you
true.
ever
Yeah, no,
like have you
it's
ever
really
noticed what
true.
it's like to shake a guy's hand?
No, I know. Yeah. No,
Like
I know
our
that I
hands
would do
are
so terribly.
massive compared to yours, and they have much more muscle. Like just our hands alone are
David is currently
Push-
grabbing my face at the
Exactly.
table.
like our arms
Well,
have
it's
more
like-
muscle,
I can
our
do
bones are
Well-
bigger and denser.
well,
Like
it's-
everything is built for physical combat.
Oh, hey, no, this is a good segue.
To what?
Trans sports.
No, we've already
talk-
talked about
I don't
this.
want to talk
Actually,
about it.
yes, do it because
Oh
this
my
is a
God.
swimming thing, and I've had lots
Oh,
of
tell us about
conversations.
your
I wanna hear
swimming
about this.
experience.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah,
is relevant.
Raven, we're getting Heston's opinions,
I
damn
need
it.
to pee.
Get your
damn
bitch
it.
ass back here.
We
I think
here
I
at
like how the
table.
podcast kind of transitioned to making sure the women know we could kill them if we needed to.
Well, no, I
We do that every time. Don't worry.
I'm a
Like,
younger
ah,
sister.
don't trifle with me.
But statistically,
So okay, so wait. So I want to
Your
give you
ass is
I want to
on
give you my
grass.
take. I think because like so from what I know of the story, what's his name? I almost said Brock Turner. It's not Brock Turner. Brock
Leah
Turner's the
Thomas?
rapist. Leah Thomas
Oh, okay.
was like Leah Thomas was like when they were a man and competing when they were identifying as a man and competing in the men's league, they were like 230th
414.
414th, and then when they transitioned to their true self as a woman, they shot up to number one.
They win the race, and in swimming, this
by,
is insane.
by like seconds, right? Before
8 seconds.
Oh my god!
And a 500. From going from
that's insane. You mean
414th
Apple
place
Raven?
to winning by 8 seconds. That is
It's unheard of.
not okay.
Well, it's like, it seems kind of unfair because men, if you go through male puberty, you have these
Longer arms,
like
bigger muscles,
natural biological advantages that women don't
more
have.
fast twitch fiber. Like the only physical advantage that women have over us is they can run long.
Yeah,
Women can what?
you're better endurance runners
You know.
because you have to run away from all these men.
As you drink from your backpack. Dave is ready for the chase.
Licks
ready.
lips. Get ready, Raven. I've been training.
I don't say any of this to like discourage any women from like pursuing physical aspects of themselves or like to make them scared, but it
Well,
is
like-
something to be aware of.
Well,
Like situational awareness is an important thing.
Well,
not to say that you should
Yeah.
like. That's a tricky subject.
Well, back to the swimming thing, back to the sports thing. I just want to say, like, the reason, there's a reason weight classes exist in boxing. It's unfair to have a 120-pound guy fight a 300-pound man. He would just die.
Mike Tyson fighting Pacquiao would be hilarious.
Oh, God.
But it would be a death match.
His head would be wrenched from his shoulder. Like, in some situation with Leah Thomas.
Yeah, Leah Thomas.
I think what we need is just a separate, like, I think we should have a men's league, a women's league, then like a free league where anyone can swim if they want to.
The problem with that is there are like 3 cases.
Yeah. Aston, what do you think about it?
I just think that if you were born biologically male, you should never be able to swim against women in any sport. It is a fact that the reason, if there was not an issue between the sexes, then there would be no men's and women's division.
Exactly.
Like, it would just be the National Basketball League, or it would just be one league.
Yeah.
And that would be great, honestly. Think of how, like, simpler that would be. There needs to be division because women cannot compete with men physically in sports. If they could, that would be great. You could just have one giant league.
Yeah, and that's not saying they can't be competent in their sport or even aggressive, because
Absolutely
women's sports
not.
can be just as aggressive as male sports. But, I mean, like the tallest woman in the NBA is, I think, middling in terms of height in the male division. Like, that's a lot of mass. And people get bones broken, like facial obstructions, like a swung arm from a basketball player is equivalent to a punch from a normal person, just because of the muscle mass that they're hauling and how fast they're moving.
I mean,
So, like, okay, so kind of another branch here. What's weird is that there's a gender gap in chess too.
chess.
Like I know it's, I don't know, like there's only, I don't know, there could be a systematic reason behind this, but there's only 37 female chess grandmasters. There are 1,632 male chess grandmasters.
That is a very large difference.
I feel like that's just because
Like it's just
When did
more.
women start
I think
being
it's
more
able
men
to
get
because it's
into it.
more of a male thing to do to compete at that, like to
Or-
be like, I need to do this, because women are just as mentally capable of
Yeah.
becoming a grandmaster. I just think that's just something like,
I was say because
Maybe, I mean, like, do you have proof of that, though? I mean, like,
I don't
what
know.
if the woman's fragile brain cannot handle the rigorous nature?
You know what?
What's your opinions, Raven?
When were women allowed to start playing like against males?
it's been a long time. 'Cause I remember
134
that,
years
Yeah.
Okay.
from now, so back.
But I think that just anecdotally thinking back to when I was a kid, I was in a chess club, and it was all men. And I think it was with the library. We had a female person running the club, but it was pushed to the men. It was pushed to the men at my elementary school to join this club at the library and compete in the competitions.
Yeah, it all depends on marketing and how they market
Yeah.
the situation.
yeah.
So-
Or the
I
club
think
or
that
the sport.
Statistically,
just
there
a
are probably just
cultural
more
difference.
women.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that makes sense to me.
because women have just the capacity as men to be. I mean, actually, there is a
Smart.
difference statistically. Men are more likely to be geniuses, but also men are more likely to be really low on the IQ. Women make up
Yeah.
more of a middle range. Men have, but also that might just be, culturally, as long as we,
Competitiveness.
Yeah.
men have been elevated, so that's just maybe women haven't. But like,
Well, being competitive is encouraged in men. Like, we're socialized to be competitive.
Yeah,
I think.
think about all the games you play as a little boy versus as a little girl.
Yeah, little
Like,
girls play house, little boys play like tag or Cowboys and Indians.
or get this ball into the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Or
what-
video games.
Yeah,
A lot of times
there's always an end goal. There's something that y'all
Yeah.
need to achieve. Whereas with women, a lot of times the goal is connection. The goal is to
It's
like,
acting. It's
yeah.
learning how to act.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
And there
I
is
wrote a paper
some.
about this for my GenderCon class. I'm going to present it tomorrow.
There,
Perfect.
Oh, cool! This is great. I'm an expert.
there is some study out there that suggests that men do think more tactically, or they're more inclined to think in ways that make them more prone to be mathematically or tactically inclined.
But do you think that's because of the like segregated gender communities, like the segregated speech communities that we present to children?
Possibly, but it's from what I read, it was presented along the same lines of how women biologically see more color.
Okay, so it'd be like if you put a little girl in a room when she was born and a little boy in a room when he was born, and they had no like knowledge of gender, it would still be that way.
Possibly, it would be what they were more naturally inclined towards. Like women have a much higher degree of perception when it comes to colors. Like if you give a male the same color gradient as a woman and say that the color gradient has 18 colors, the guy will probably pick out 9 or 10, while the woman will probably pick out like 15 to 16. They have a much more. They have a much more refined sense of color perception, and there's little differences about how our brains work because biologically we were for centuries we were designed to do different things.
Yeah.
The theory I read is that like since women were primarily like harvesters, basically they would like look at berries to determine edibility. That's why women evolved to have greater like color perception. While men, I read somewhere, so don't quote me on this, but I think men in general are better at imagining objects moving in 3D spaces.
We have better dynamic. It's called dynamic vision. It's
Yeah.
the ability to predict movement, and that's why catchers can catch balls that they can't see.
Is that why Emma's bad at driving?
Yes.
To potentially, yeah.
It's not my fault. I can't help it. It's part of my DNA.
That's also probably just because of hand-eye coordination, because of
And
sports
men
and things.
excel
Oh, true.
more in hand-eye coordination
I've
than women do.
never
It can be trained,
done
obviously, everything can be
sports.
trained, but naturally, on a basic level,
You
men will
flinch.
have a higher
Woman.
capacity for hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Wait, man.
Okay, do we what major disagreements do we all actually have? I said we have to get heated at one point.
I have something we could talk about.
Yes,
Okay.
please, God.
Present it.
Okay, so the Disney thing that's come out in the last week or something.
Wait, what?
Which Disney is a massive monopoly in production of entertainment.
Yes,
And they're
60%
wanting-
of all media they own.
It's crazy. They're like wanting to take gender out of all the. They're trying to take it out of like Disney World and all their productions, and they say like in the future they want to make like movies completely genderless and make it to where there's no like stereotypes and like they just don't
Oh,
want to have gender
genderless?
kind of involved at all.
That's hard.
I know.
How are they going to do that? It's like, I mean, I guess they can say,
There's no
I'm saying-
pronouns for anything anywhere
Wait.
on the parts now.
Well, okay, I can see it physically working out, but like in their products, like in thinking about Encanto recently, there was a gender, I guess, abnormality where one of the sisters was super strong, like a Hercules type character, which is not consistent
Louisa.
with a female character, which is fine. But also in that same movie, this the other sister is known for beauty and elegance and like being prim and proper. And eventually she goes away from that, but it's still like the beautiful, the matronly growing one, and like the grandmother has the same hierarchical grandmother type roles. Like that came out this year, and if they want to start doing that, I don't know if they could make that movie the same.
well, so like, I don't know, like, so,
Oh, I know the movie you're talking about. It's like, what are you talking
It's the
about?
Mexican
I don't know.
one.
Yes, I know that. The
um,
Mexican
It's
one.
actually not Mexico.
I don't care.
It's
Zach,
Damn, son!
I think it might actually be El
They're
Salvador.
brown, dadgummit.
that's even worse.
Why does El Salvador keep popping up?
Because me and Tolly both hate
Somehow.
El Salvadorians for different reasons, but
Dude, we got a fucking bro. He is El Salvadorian. We will die for El Salvador.
He weighs as much as all of us combined.
Big boy.
oh god. So
Anyway,
I mean, so like, let's get Emma, Raven. What are y'all's opinions on Disney going genderless?
I do not watch TV anymore. I haven't watched TV in a very long time. I think that it will be very difficult. I think that, like, why? Because, like, you'll still have little boys and little girls growing up and identifying as little boys and little girls, so then we'll have nobody to identify with, so
I mean,
why?
I'm trying to find a
Yeah,
source
true.
that says like,
Just have all kinds. Have the little transgender kids. Have the little boy. Have the little girl. Have the intersex kids. Also, we need to talk about intersex people more.
They make up, like, what?
No one talks about them.
Wait, let me look at what
And
percentage of the
There are
market.
so many more than you realize because we don't talk about it, but there's actually like a big number of intersex people. But also a lot of them don't know that they're just like people don't look at their inner organs that often. So.
1.7%. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's okay.
Define intersex.
Like people born with both sexual.
hermaphrodites.
In any kind of capacity, like it could
Yeah.
be internal, it could be noticeable or not noticeable.
Just some kind of like
So, like for instance,
developmental. Like
a hermaphroditic woman might have ovaries. Well, things in her organs that look like ovaries, but they might be actually testicles that never descended. Because genetically, or biologically, we all start off. It's not that
Female.
we start off female. The template is more female.
We all
oriented.
start off female.
Female.
Like
And
to
then
be
we
a little
correct
bit
it.
to be a little bit not safe for work, the seam on your testicles is where the labia closed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that ball seam so much. It's so unaesthetic. We should.
Well,
It's-
I highlight
Wait,
it.
it's where your labia-
I accent it.
Basically, not like your
But-
whole labia. Like it's like when you're a fetus.
Wait,
Well,
is my labia closed or open now?
No, your labia is open. You're a woman.
I hope
okay.
it's open. If it's
I
not,
was so confused because
you're
you
dead.
said where your labia closed, and I
Your
was like,
labia minora.
it's
I'm gonna
closed?
get
Wait.
sepsis.
It would be like your labia minora
Okay.
touched each other
wait,
and like welded shut.
Imagine.
And then your
I didn't realize.
ovaries dropped out.
That it ever
That
was
needs
closed.
that needs to be a biological feature on women.
What?
You should be able to close your labias at will.
Whoa.
If you don't have sex, you're like whoop, zipped up. Sorry,
that
bud.
would be crazy.
That's like a mouth.
Yeah. like a vice. It's like
Venus
disgusting.
flytrap.
Teeth.
Yeah.
But I will go back.
there's a movie about that. There's
I will go back to this.
Let's go back to the
intersex
actual-
people. Is that for a lot of what's coming out now about LGBT, is that it's those people who are going for it, like trans people, is where a lot of the noise about trans come from. Gay people is where a lot of it, right? Intersex people, as far as I know and have found, they don't really want their own space the same way. Like most intersex people, either A, they just don't know, or B,
They want to be the
want to be
gender
a-
that they're presenting.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. They want to be either a man or a woman, and that's how they feel. They don't feel the same kind of kinship, I guess, with the movement. And a lot of people are speaking for them when I haven't heard any of them speaking the same way about themselves.
Okay,
That's
I
so
guess
true.
what I meant is like I wish I had just known what that was because I didn't know
Oh.
what that was until I was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Same.
that was a thing. So I guess just more education that there are these differences and to be
I
aware.
was taught by my sex ed teacher in high school
Oh,
that
good for you because I was not.
that can I finish my goddamn sentence?
Oh my god.
Apparently you can't, and you keep interrupting people. So
Bite. You can take them.
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah, David.
wait, I have boxing gloves.
I have boxing glove.
Match on the pod.
Imagine me fighting Raven. I want to just.
No, Raven will
Raven's talking
destroy you.
some shit today.
Raven would like
He's
I
dodge.
feel like
shit.
I could.
Raven
like,
would- Raven-
beat someone.
You would. You would. I can picture. I would.
feel like
I would.
Arms.
I would punch. I would punch.
just
You would.
need
You would dodge under it, grab my arm, break my elbow the wrong way, and then kick my knee in, and then strangle me to death with your thighs or something. I don't know.
Easy.
Did,
Nice.
no, no, no,
Die.
no.
That was super in depth. That was too far, but okay.
Anyway, so what I was gonna say is that when I was in high school, I was taught by my sex ed teacher that being gay was a choice because of exposure to feminine ideas in childhood. But the point is, he was saying like, yeah, that teacher's gay because they let him play with dolls too much when he was a kid. I was like, well, it's kind of fucked up, Coach Parker. But and no one believed me when I was talking about how like
That's a good
you're
drop.
more likely to be gay if you have older brothers because of how because of how women's bodies treat male fetuses in utero. If you have like.
You have more
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah,
that-
yeah, because your mom's uterus is like, I gotta put more estrogen in here so my own cells don't attack and kill the baby. And that's what happens. You know, like there's this study a few years ago that was like, it says like, gay men's brains are very chemically similar to straight women's brains, and same thing for lesbians and straight men.
That's so cool that we have like,
Well,
a
Science and
variety.
shit.
it's not like 100%. There's like a nature versus
It's a
nurture
flow
aspect. Yeah.
between.
And like sexual fluidity is definitely a nurture thing. Being able to be okay with the idea of like the Kinsian scale being a 3 or a 4 is much more of a nurture thing than it is a biological thing. Because I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Like most women sit around, I think 3. Most men sit around 1 or 2.
yeah.
On what?
The Keynesian scale,
So-
6 being gay,
Yeah.
0 being the most straight.
We know a guy who's 0. It's very funny.
What? I've never heard of this scale.
It's very antiquated. Like it's
gayness and straightness.
it's
There's
it's,
a
like-
it-
like
it's
0
not, it's
is-
not 100% rely. It's like
Yeah.
it's
like with any
it's old
test.
science. Yeah.
Like 0 is I don't want to look at any penis, including my own. And and 1 is like penises are a part of life. I accept it. I just choose to only deal with mine. 2 is like I can see a dick. It's fine. I'm not like thinking about it, but like I can see a dick and it's a good dick. I don't want it. Keep it away from me. But you got a good dick. 3's like I can touch that dick. I wouldn't mind touching that dick.
And 4's like I would like to touch dicks more than vaginas, and 6 is like I will
Put that
only
in
suck
my
that
mouth.
dick.
6 is like pussy growth. Give me that dick.
Nice. I love this scale. I'm gonna take the test.
You're gonna turn up like a 2 or 3 probably.
Oh, what?
You're bisexual. Yeah.
That's a 2.
2 or 3.
So 3's right in the middle.
3's right in the middle, and 2
So it's-
2's meaning you lean more straight. So 2 or 3.
Oh. Okay. I get it.
So if you're like have a preference for men. Gay. I wish more men were gay, so there'd be more women for me. So.
So sad, David.
Jesus H. Christ. I think that might be the most incel-y thing you've
I
said.
only support gay rights so I can have more access to women.
So women
The
don't
truth.
only go after 8s and higher. They should
Being
let
a
me as
sub 8
male.
Dave wants to wake up in World's End Harlem.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's like I wake up, a virus has wiped out 99.9999% of all men. Only David is left. Like yes,
Yes.
finally.
And,
I
and
would
the women have
become
decided to
lesbian.
die.
Rude, Emma.
What'd you say,
I said
Emma?
I would become lesbian.
Fuck you. No.
You can have all the rest of the women. I feel like you'll be fine.
No,
without
I
me.
must have them all.
Oh,
else my
Bond.
fantasy-
must be conquered.
Bet. I don't even know. Is that Sigma male at that point? Or is that like go all the way around?
I feel like what they would do is they would
What's
kill.
beta?
They would kill me.
Like, you
they
don't have a
would.
choice.
What would happen is they would kill me and then just harvest the sperm from my dead body. Like,
Just a floating dick and balls in,
Yeah.
a vat somewhere. It's like, yes, we've learned how to extract the semen.
Oh my god. I love that for women.
Actually, you can create.
Emma, shut
So, fun fact: you can actually make sperm cells from any other type of cell
Yeah.
by degrading it to a stem cell and then regrowing it into a sperm cell. However, they don't work.
Oh, what?
So it doesn't work.
Well,
You
like
can, but it doesn't work.
Wait,
so
well,
well, like
does it?
sperm cells
So
have a
is it
tail,
thing
a
or not?
flagella that just like motors around. The ones that are made from like skin cells, just like
I heard bone marrow is
you
pretty.
put them-
Like, they've made some headway of bone marrow produced.
Is that not what he's just saying?
They said skin cells, right?
they can do it with
Oh, yeah,
these.
yeah. Or, like, so if you're a woman and you get like a sperm made from your own bone marrow, then impregnate one of your eggs with that
You're
sperm.
fucked.
Would you clone yourself? Would that be a clone of you? Like,
You ever heard of
That
incest?
is a clone, technically.
Yeah.
I think
It's
God
an
would allow
incest
that.
clone. That clone's
He's like,
fucked.
that's not how you
Oh,
play. That's not how you play the game.
let's get heated. Who thinks God's real?
Is this a political argument still?
No, it's just like I want someone to get mad. Why do you think?
guess yes,
Why do you think
but-
God's real, Heston?
Because of the perfection of how this world is so perfectly made to sustain life, and also the universe. I can't imagine it without being like divine creation.
Do you think there? Do you think aliens might exist?
Absolutely, this universe is so massive, and like I don't think God was just like, yes, only Earth and this one bit of the universe. Right? There's lots of. I mean, if you think about it, the chances of Earth being able to sustain life the way it does is so impossible, and how the universe came to be.
Yeah.
I just cannot fathom how it is not without a creator. And so, I just don't see how Earth is also like the only bit of life and how vast the universe is. If what the Hubble telescope and all that other stuff, like if we, because obviously if you think about like how big the universe is, it's kind of like unfathomable.
Mhm.
I don't even understand. It's so big.
Do you think?
It's so big that when you look far enough, you're actually looking back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be real. Like, I did a project for this when I was in Costa Rica about universe like distances, and it's kind of scary once you get to a certain point. It's like, oh yeah, this is incomprehensibly long. Like, it's like you couldn't say the number out loud because the time it would take to like pronounce it would kill you. Like, you would die of old age.
Or how it's like basically there's electromagnetic interference from the Big Bang that is still being, like, you can still record it on satellites.
Yeah.
And the only reason we can still record it is because it took so long to travel here because sound doesn't travel that fast.
Oh, that
Sound is
so
actually
cool.
slow as hell.
Yeah.
Time is slow as balls. We can go 7 times it on Earth.
So do you think man was made in the image of God, Heston?
I do. I think that human beings are different than any other creation ever.
So do you think, like on other planets, we find other humans or just other life?
I don't
Yeah.
really think. I mean, at this point, we're just being, for funsies. I
No,
don't
this
think
is
it
a
really
fun
matters.
question.
I feel like if there was other life, yes, there would be something. Because human beings have the capacity of such good and such evil. That is why they're made in the image of God. I feel like, also, like, the whole reason with evil, like, I could turn this into a giant theological debate. It's so fun. I mean, would you want to? We're talking about politics.
No, we can do. It's a free form thing. As
He's
long
just
as
trying to
someone,
piss people off.
as long as someone gets angry, I'll be happy.
Can I say something that my grandma said yesterday, and I put it in my notes?
Yeah, sure.
She said, my grandma's fucking, and I love her. I love her so much. She just says these things, and I'm like, how? She said, remember your true cosmic value. We are the most precious things ever. We are the closest thing to God there is. And then she goes, oh, wait. And if you think about it, that's kind of sad.
Aw, that's hilarious.
So she's like, if we're the closest thing to God.
I agree with everything she said. It is quite sad. It is quite sad.
Man, why can't we fly? That'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
see, I believe
Come on.
in God and Jesus and all of the religious stuff in a lot different way than most people do, but I believe there is an entity. I don't know what that entity is. It may be God, it may be something else. Jesus was a person, history, we know that, but also history becomes confuddled and confused.
Confuddled, yes. See,
And
He's also not the only deific figure in history.
Exactly. And it's just like, we all kind of like something to believe in. And if you look at a leaf, what the fuck?
Okay,
Wait,
Look
what?
at it under a microscope. Like,
Oh,
something
this-
had to have created that.
Oh, the
something.
complexity.
no. See, like I'm an atheist. I'm like, oh yes, science. You know, this is literally,
Yeah, I mean, I believe in science and everything, but it's just so hard to, like...
I'm like the triangle is a very efficient structure that occurs in it.
The complexity
Thanks for
of
quoting JoJo's.
is that a
No,
joke?
that, wait, it is no.
They talk about the Fibonacci sequence in triangles and shit.
Oh yeah, I haven't read that part, so it's an accident.
But-
It's an accident.
So, one thing that always pushed me away from religion from an early age, I remember a very famous story in my family. I was like 3 or 4, and I was at a Christian daycare. So they're like, okay, it's time to pray. It's lunchtime. I was like, I don't want to. Like, why don't you want to pray? I'm like, I don't believe in it. I'm like, believe in what? God? I'm like, the fuck? It's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, a lot of things don't make sense to you. Why do you care about this one in particular? It's like, it doesn't make sense to me.
See, I don't know if I believe in religion, but I believe that there's something.
Yeah, religion's always had an issue with me because it's prescribing humanistic characteristics to a creator being that creates, something this intricate. Why would it have humanistic characteristics?
Well, because
I-
we're human, and so they're trying to make it more relatable.
Exactly.
I think like
and that's been the disconnect.
I would.
See, you keep doing that this time.
No,
Yeah, let
I
the-
did
let
that
the
this
religious
time.
people
Let's be
talk.
honest. I did that this time. Today. Fuck you, though, Dave. I will say
all
that.
I want to say is that all I want to fucking say is that I think like for a solid 85% of people,
What? What now?
He interrupted himself.
For a solid 85% of people that are no longer like affiliated with a religion, it's because the other people in their religion, like the behavior of Christians around me, turned me off to the faith pretty much permanently.
I think that a lot of people can agree with that statement.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's like,
I'm an outlier. I had a wonderful upbringing in the church.
oh great.
Yeah, they were wonderful people.
Sorry.
They helped my family amazingly. I just my brain never got the logic. It never understood it. It was always rejecting it. So I actually mourn the loss of religion. Zach can attest to this. I get very upset when I'm in a church. I feel very uncomfortable. Like we went to a Good Tuesday. What was it?
Oh, it was the Taizé thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do that?
It was for
Okay.
the Wednesday after or the Thursday after Easter.
Ash Wednesday?
No.
You
It
mean
was a-
the
Wait,
Good
are
Friday?
you talking about are you talking about the thing where we sat around and sang?
No.
Oh,
We
sorry.
went to church and there was a sermon and we walked out and you were very energized by the experience and I was
yeah.
basically about to
I
die.
remember this, yeah.
And I had
remember
to
what it
explain
was.
to him, I was like, I don't feel the camaraderie at all. So I don't reject it. I actually wish I had something to believe in. I think that life is better in that way. But yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
Rejects faith.
Can you expand on that? Because it's kind of confusing. You're saying like you mourn the loss of religion in your own life or in society?
No. In my own life, being someone who can't understand the idea of believing in a higher existence, I wish that I could because of the community that it forms within social groups. Like I've always I've seen churches as both good and evil things, but again, I was raised in a very good church, very good people, and I never felt connected to them through this religion, and I never got to know them personally. So I was basically with strangers the entire time. When I noticed that they all felt a sense of community amongst themselves, and anytime I would visit a new church, they would always try to, or at least they had this empathic connection because, like, okay, you're in this church now, you're part of our group, you're part of us. But it always felt like it was bouncing off of me, like it wasn't connecting. And that was mostly because I didn't believe in what they were saying, and I was still confused about, like, the logic of the religion. And I came to terms with it when I was about 19. It's like, okay, the reason I don't work with religion is because religion doesn't work on logic, it works on faith. And faith is just not something that I personally am capable of. I don't have faith in humanity, in myself, in anything. And it's a really hard struggle for me, but it definitely means that I can't do religion.
Well, I think I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'm gonna reference my papal bulls here. Faith and Reason, John Paul II, is a big. You're gonna pull that up? Oh,
I
was
pull
like,
that up.
It's a large bull from I think the 90s where he talks about how a lot of people would in the more modern world are thinking about religion like that as being an argument entirely based on faith, when in reality, if you base it entirely on faith without any sort of human understanding and human reason, it simply becomes superstition, and superstition is not something you can base a community off of, right? So this is what Tristan and I have talked about this before. A lot of people will say something like a New Age movement or a cult or belief in ghosts or anything like that is equivalent to an organized religion, is what I hear a lot of people arguing when it's...
Like how Christianity started out as a cult of Judaism, or something like that.
Where it's not necessarily. You need that reason. There needs to be some sort of basis in human understanding to try and understand what you can't. It's like you need to have an aspirative goal that you probably will never be able to reach the aspirative goal, not as long as we're alive at least. But there is still growth that is possible instead of faith, fully faith-based, which is, here is the answer, doesn't matter what the reasons are whatsoever, and it cannot change.
And to go along with that, it's kind of like how all religions tell you to be a good person.
Yeah.
So, like, it is based in logic. It's just the prescribing to one religion in particular is having the faith that is the correct answer. Because especially now when we're presented with so many different avenues towards that be a good person end goal,
Yeah.
the reason to be one or the other is faith.
But I think that the grounding in human reason and human understanding is also different as well. Like, for example, why I don't agree with Protestantism. I don't know if you're
Fuck you say?
Yeah, that's what I thought. You don't even believe in Jesus. Is examples like
Cat Protestant game.
sola fide or sola scriptura, right? Where it's only the Bible is important, which I take as not a question of faith for me. It's a question of reason. I like the fact that people have got together over this millennia at this point and said, all right, this seems to make more sense, and they can still continue to get together and say, this doesn't seem to make sense, but these are things that we've decided before, and until we have some other reasoning against it, still use it, right? Or you could go to another faith entirely, like Islam, for example. You could believe in Allah, you can believe in Isa as the Messiah, you can believe in the Mahdi, all of that stuff. If you don't believe in the rules prescribed by the Quran, then you don't believe in the religion, and that you have to fully really understand those and understand the reasons for those to get to the faith part of it. You can believe in all of that stuff, but if you don't get to the actual human aspects pretty much explicitly written in the book, it doesn't make sense. There you go. You get it.
Dave is joining Protestant gang.
No, I'm joining Catholic game.
Catholic.
No!
Yes.
I do not hate Catholics.
Oh no, I believe in.
Wait.
There's a thing that Protestants
No,
think
yeah.
that...
No, it is
You know
a
how...
thing.
Okay. The way... Okay, here's something that really...
Grinds
makes
my
me...
gears.
Grinds my gears. Is,
My gears
it's a
been
real
ground.
thing. Is that some Christians think that Catholics are not Christians.
Pisses me off. They're so dumb. No, wait. I'm sorry, bro. I gotta tell the story. I had this teacher in fucking high school who went to Mount St. Mary's, and when we were talking about religion one day, she goes, "Oh no, Catholics aren't Christian. I know because I'm a Catholic." I'm like, "You're a dumbass Catholic." I literally did the history line, and she said I was wrong
What
and
the
sent me out of
fuck?
class.
What?
I'm like, "Catholics were the first Christian. You stupid bitch. This is what."
Oh my god.
Fuck! I'm so sorry. Oh, he just.
I'm
Okay.
proud of you. for
Okay,
knowing
okay.
Yeah, one time I was on
that's
on
a
a
dumb
bus
take.
coming back from a tennis match, and there was a boy, and we were talking about religion and stuff, and he goes, "Don't worry, I don't hate Catholics. They're just misled, you know." And I was like, "What did you just say to me?"
Yeah, and how many of us on the bus were Catholic?
A
Like
ton
a bunch.
of the people who were on the tennis court, on the tennis team, were Catholic, and the fact that he was saying
Yeah.
that, like, have you?
He
do you
could
not
ask any one of them.
could you like go to a Catholic church? What does a church do? They worship something, and the Catholic Church worships God? Question mark.
They
Go
do.
to
Yes.
Go,
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yes.
Go to a Catholic
They
church.
really
Sure we
like
do.
Jesus in the Catholic Church.
I just couldn't
He's-
believe he said that to me. Yeah, everyone is heated right now.
Yes, we did it. We achieved our goal.
Oh no, Heston, what religion?
Well, you know what? To make it more heated, Catholics are not Christians. Now everyone can.
No, boo.
Just kidding. But the
What?
reason
They're not, but they're
What?
right.
the reason that Catholics get such a bad rep is because Catholicism seems more religious than Protestantism.
Yes,
It's
period.
way more cooler.
And Mass,
Way more
and
cooler.
It's so much. It's a lot older.
Yeah.
And so it has so many traditions. I don't agree with a lot of things in Catholicism, and I can easily say that before I came to Hendrix, I thought that Catholics were not Christians. I hadn't met a Catholic person in my life.
That's okay.
And then I come here, and with my discipleship group that I lead, the small group here at Hendrix, two of my guys that came around the most and have been really good friends with me were one, Evan King, dear God, and two was Andrew, and they're both Catholics, and I've learned so much
Wait,
from
I
them.
have a question. What did you think Catholics were? What
I
did
had
you think
no
they
idea.
were
I had
worshiping?
no idea.
Oh.
I'm from Mountain View, Arkansas. There's
Oh.
one Catholic church, and I'm pretty sure like 50 people go there.
Are you Baptist?
I was raised Baptist. I don't identify as Baptist.
No,
I
you're-
don't identify
I was
as a
raised Southern Baptist.
You're non-denominational now, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, so you don't identify as like a. I was
Just
raised
Christian, I guess.
Methodist.
And Methodist, damn, That's a bunch of liberals.
Yeah, the Methodists are the liberals of like
They have freaking.
No,
of
that's
Protestant.
What's it?
Talking about the
What's-
Presbyterians.
Presbyterians
No.
are really progressive.
What's Trevor's?
Episcopalian.
They're like liberal.
How? You know who bothers me? Pentecostals bother me the most. I fucking
Thumbs down.
they're weirdos.
Oh yeah, I can't forget to tell you guys this
They-
because it's genius.
Tell us.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you want to, whenever I meet a
Don't bother.
Catholic and I'm like, oh yes, and I'm like, I always ask them. I say, hey, are you more? I say,
Ask Emma. She's Catholic.
Hi.
I say, are you more Catholic or are you more Christian? And if they say, oh, I'm more Catholic, then you know that they're like only culturally Catholic. But if they say, what the hell do you mean by that? Then you know that they're like,
Period.
then they're actually like, I don't know, more devout in their faith or
Religious-
more
religious,
educated.
yeah.
Because I feel like this is true, that there are a lot of people that grow up Catholic and they go to mass because their parents say you got to get your ass to mass.
Yeah.
I feel like that's.
This happens in Protestantism
yeah,
as well,
I feel
but
like that happens in
Catholicism-
That's how you have religion.
but Catholicism just gets that rep.
well, we have school.
Well,
for
Catholicism
it.
just seems more.
We have
More, it
Catholic.
seems more epic because you go to a giant cathedral with some dude playing the organ and you speak a dead language. It's really metal when you think about it.
Space.
And then in
I
like,
used to know
in
so
like-
many Latin prayers as a child. Imagine
Dude,
being
do
a
you
kid.
still remember Our Father in Latin?
I don't remember it. If you played it, I probably would be like, oh shit, I remember this one.
Pater
I passed
noster,
out
qui
at
es in
Catholic
caelis,
church.
sanctificetur nomen tuum, et veniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. I don't
The
know how to rap
starts
that, I don't remember.
manifesting.
Qui es in caelis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, et veniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. I don't know how to rap that.
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy
I never
name.
had the water put on my head.
Thy will
But
be done on earth as
I
it is in
did
heaven.
go to
And forgive
Catholic
us our
Mass when I was a
trespasses,
kid, back
as
when
we
I was
forgive
in
those who trespass against us.
That's the regular prayer.
That's from the fucking Prince of Egypt. Right?
no.
Alright, guys.
It's the Lord's Prayer.
Dave interrupts.
Dave
with
just
a
derailed.
YouTube video.
He does this all the time. He doesn't care what anyone else is talking about.
This is something.
It is.
This makes you want to like kill a bunch of Muslim people in Jerusalem.
In Minecraft.
in Jerusalem.
In Minecraft. Okay.
Villagers.
No, you fucked up.
Villagers.
Desert biome villagers.
Okay.
Okay.
Now tell your thing.
But anyway,
I'm sorry, it said like.
I was not raised Catholic, but my parents really were. 'Cause my grandparents were.
I literally thought you were Jewish.
I'm ethnically Jewish.
I thought you were religiously
We used
also
to-
Jewish.
No.
We used to say he was Catholic Jew because he in high school he was very dedicated to learning about Islam as well.
Ah.
So no one could ever figure out what he was.
I love that.
So we were just like, he's Catholic Jew. He's all over. He's Abrahamic.
Aw.
And now I tell people, I'm like, he's the most Catholic person you'll never meet. Like, oh, does he go to mass? I'm like, no, because he's not Catholic. And they'll say, what the fuck do you mean? I'm like, yeah, he's so Catholic that he can't consider himself Catholic because he hasn't been baptized. They go, what the actual fuck is wrong with this man? I go, I don't know, I love him.
Aw, that's so cute.
But my grandparents were, and they raised my parents very Catholic. So the only like religious experience was me in Chicago going to mass in Polish.
Ooh.
So I had to learn like Our Father and whatnot in Polish. But this just go to say that I think more recent generations, I think it skips a lot, is that people who were not at all exposed to religion, like I had it when I was a young kid, and then I got really interested in around high school time, just because it was something I'd never seen before. But people who have it constantly put to them and aren't given the chance to like rationalize or understand it themselves start to turn away from it. And I think that's a very common thing today.
I would say, yeah. But again, like I said, my family, we were raised in the church. My brother went to church every Sunday from the ages of like, I guess his birth to when he was about 24, to the Church of the Nazarene, and they loved him. They were very good to him. He never had any bad experiences with them. His family still goes. They still ask about him. They still check up on him. They were good to us too. We didn't go to their church, but they were very good to us. And I went to church, and my sister went to church, and my father fell off of it, but my mom was very dedicated to it. And both me and my sister and my brother talked about it today, or on my birthday, and we were like, yeah, we thought it was a joke that everyone was in on. Just because as kids, we couldn't like rationalize it to be like, okay, people are capable of other belief systems, and our lines of logic are not the only ones. But my sister and I were of the opinion, like, everyone knows this is kind of like, it's kind of fake, right? But no, as we got older, we realized, like, no, we were kind of alone in that opinion, and that's why we could never connect with the community. And that's what I always say, is like, I miss that. I miss the ability to have that connection of community. Like, if you go to a church in another country, and you know that you're going to find another Christian there that you can have a conversation with, or have that connection with. Like, we are connected through this one singular aspect of our lives. But for, like, I understand people not liking it because of personal experiences, but for me, it is a fundamental thing that I will never understand. It does not make sense to me, and I wish it did. I'm a slightly spiritual person. Like, I guess you could say I would lean towards more of a mystic Buddhist type philosophy, but it just doesn't. It's not something I think about. And
you have a problem with like just theism as a whole?
Theism,
like just the idea of God existing, or
no, not
when
really.
you say like you have like a fundamental like problem of understanding it, like that can mean a number of things.
Well, it's hard to explain because again, it's just not something I really think about. Because it's something that's been so ingrained in my psyche since the beginning. It's just an understood fact that I don't really believe it.
Okay, so wait. Do you think if you yes, I clasp my hands together. Do you think if you began believing like wholeheartedly, completely, just giving yourself to yourself, that you would be able to understand / compute the idea of giving yourself to a entity? Do you think that's part of the problem?
No, it's like, say if I started going to church and I started reciting the Bible and I started being the Christian that is like expected of a Southern boy, I would be faking. I would never truly give over to it. And I also say that I'm an atheist not because of atheists. I feel like are the only. I don't like agnostics.
I hate
because
agnostics.
They're of the idea of like, if you prove that God exists, I'll believe in him. It's like, well, yeah, if you prove it to an atheist too, he'll probably believe in it because you have proof.
Yeah, it's
so, but I'm not like obsessed with disproving God. I honestly feel very awkward talking about my religious views because it's very hard to explain. Like, it's caused some confusion tonight where it literally just doesn't make sense to me, and a lot of that is about like the afterlife. Like, the afterlife sounds like fucking torture. I would hate that.
Oh, I think that when everything...
Even if I went to heaven, I would fucking hate it.
I saw this one Christian description of the afterlife, and it said...
Continue.
Yeah, continue,
Keep going.
David.
Did someone interrupt you, David?
No, Raven. I interrupted Raven.
I think you should fight.
Without shame.
Keep going. I'll go after you.
Yeah.
I'll wait my turn. I'm a woman.
Oh, she gets it.
Damn.
Okay.
She gets
go.
it. Know your place.
Go.
So I was reading this thing. It's like in the afterlife, apparently. Live fact checking.
Flips to the page in the Bible.
In the afterlife, it's like heaven isn't really like it's portrayed in the media. You're supposed to spend your time in heaven, worshiping and being in awe of God, right? That's what you're supposed to do.
I've never
That's kind of the
heard that.
Dante.
I could talk a lot about this.
Dude,
I could
please.
talk so much.
Educate.
Wait, it's
Okay.
my turn.
Okay.
My turn.
Damn it!
Okay, so
I
basically...
said white straight
Timothy
man, no
2:12.
disabilities.
Timothy 2:12.
No disabilities.
Timothy
Married.
2:12. Timothy
Wealthy
2:12.
family. I should
Pull that shit up. Timothy 2:12.
Hey, Dave is a pastor, so this is church.
Anyways,
I'm an ordained
Raven is going to
pastor.
talk now. So the way that I believe in afterlife, I believe that when everything ends, everything just ends. I think that everything is soft and okay, and that's it. If you were a good soul, everything's soft and okay. If you were a bad soul, it just ends. Like, there's nothing. I don't believe in the idea of heaven and hell, and if there is a hell, y'all shawty's coming back here, and you're gonna relearn the lessons that you did not learn the first time. So a little bit of reincarnation.
Are you saying Earth is hell?
To some people, yes.
I would say that.
He's next thing.
Oh, I wasn't making a point. I was saying.
Oh,
it's
okay.
hell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
So in
wanna
the
live
past
forever.
like 2 years, my idea of like heaven and hell has been radically changed.
Oh.
And it has. I really wish I could have this conversation with everyone, because I think that as a culture, we are a Christian culture. Everyone is familiar with the Bible and like the most basic of Christian thoughts.
Yeah.
Like heaven, hell, God. What?
Yes.
But there's also this like really common thought that if you, there's different beliefs, but if you're a good person and you believe in Jesus, and there's varying beliefs on that, you're going to go to heaven and it's going to be perfect. I think the most uneducated Christians think if you believe in God and you can really do whatever, and as long as you believe in Jesus, you're going to go to heaven and you get to live in paradise.
I hate that.
Streets of gold, everything is just great. You have your own personal paradise, it seems. More educated Christians, you come to realize, and this is what I thought about 4 years ago, coming in and actually developing my faith as a Christian and not just being a cultural Christian with my family, is that when you go to heaven, it's not a narcissistic thing. You're going to like praise God, which is what you're meant to do forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the last 2 years, it's changed again, where it's like we have this idea as some Christians that if you're good, God knows this, He's all-knowing, and therefore I just need to die, do my time, be good enough to where I can go and be with God. Let God take me so I can leave this earth, because this place is a shithole, everyone's evil. This is not where I'm supposed to be.
Earth is hell.
I would disagree with you. Because I believe that the way God intended for human beings to live was in relationship with Him. But He had to put sin in front of us in order for there to be capacity to truly be good.
To choose.
To choose good.
Free will, baby.
You can go into that forever. But people are not supposed to just be like, oh God, take me off earth and die so I can be done with this place. If you read Revelation, and Revelation is so bumpy, it's so freaking crazy. But I believe that like whenever God wins in the end, according to Christian thought, God's gonna He's gonna like fix everything that was the Garden of Eden, the way we were supposed to live in relationship with God. He's gonna make that again. So technically, heaven is going to be on earth. There's not gonna be anything wrong on earth anymore. Like God's going to win that war. And
my
no.
God.
My plants. The cat always knocks my plants down. She just murdered a plant.
You ever read the Narnia books?
You can
yes,
fix that later, David.
The Last Battle.
I don't think I'm familiar with like the second or third book.
The Last Battle was the seventh. Basically, you know Aslan's God, yeah.
Yes.
Aslan reveals to Narnia at the end, it's like, okay, you guys were good, you defeated the evil, but Narnia's over. It's time to go to actual Narnia. And that's like where all the Pevensies are and where all the friends of Narnia are. Basically, it's the idea of Narnia was a test. You passed the test. Now it's time to live in real Narnia, Aslan's country.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of what you were saying.
But the real thing is that I've come to realize is that God wants to restore, I believe, what Earth is, which seems so impossible to us because of how screwed up people are, how evil things are. But I think that there's a real wrong understanding of the most basic of Christian concepts, that when we die we go to heaven, we get to leave and live in paradise. What we're supposed to do as Christians, and I think what human beings that are good people, is we're supposed to strive to do the most we can here. And I know that's like the most basic concept, like everyone knows that, but also tied into heaven is earth. It's what it's supposed to be. It's what it was. We as humans messed it up, but God's going to eventually restore that. And
You
it's
think
not,
God is going to come back? Do you think Jesus is going to come back?
I do. I don't want to see heaven as like an escape from what...
Oh.
Heaven is seen as an escape for Christians, really. I'm ready to die and not contribute to the well-being of mankind. Go to heaven, be narcissistic, and,
There's a common phrase that people use in regards to that thought process, and it's that Christians of that sort live for the life after this one instead of focusing on the one they're currently living.
I've heard that.
I would agree that the afterlife is a more real reality than this is here on Earth, because it's spiritual. I think that spirituality is something that's more like, if you look at something that's 2D, 3D is something that's more tangible than 2D, and I think that something that's spiritual is more real than what we are. So I guess that's like the end goal, but what you're supposed to do I just don't like the idea of heaven being an escape for people and they're not trying to help anyone or do anything here, and it also just becomes like really self-centered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like extremely common. So it's like, well, how do you change that? Well, be a good person on Earth. That's already kind of what the Bible's whole purpose is. It's just kind of a, back of the mind, because even the best of Christians are still tired of, if you're really aware of the world, it's so evil. Like, you don't want to be a part of it, really. But
Would it be like everyone who has died plus like physical people all on Earth? Or is that like physicalness becomes the same as everyone?
you mean like the heaven on earth
Yeah.
thing? No, I think that once you die, like, you'll be a spiritual person.
Will we interact like? Is it like ghosts?
I don't
I
know
think
if
we
it'd
just
be
don't
like
exist.
ghosts.
I think we exist to ourselves and that's it.
Wait, like
Once you die.
once you die, you exist to yourself.
yourself. Like, you're like, oh, I'm here and I'm just kind of floating and I'm not a being. I'm just an entity now.
No thanks.
I would not. I don't want to void.
I
I
want to be
want
able
to
to.
void. I want it to just all end. Like, what?
That is my
No,
nightmare.
see, I want to do the reincarnation
Why?
thing.
Why is that
That's
your
so
nightmare?
s-
I
Why?
hate that
love
idea.
life.
Why?
I love
I
experiencing
asked you
things.
why.
I want to always be experiencing, and I would love to be able to experience that with more people who also have moved to the next stage.
What
we
if
can
you
all
get-
experience it together.
Well, if you get like a new game plus when you die,
A what?
you restart on a.
Man, it's gonna be harder.
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls. You restart, until eventually it breaks your spirit, just over and over again.
Oh, I
Broken.
never.
Can I stop? I'm broken.
No, dude, you gotta get an NG plus 7.
I
Dude, I think I'm
forgot
gonna
to
be
mention
+9.
this whenever we were talking about gender, but I want to live in one of y'all's bodies for a day.
That'd be
Yes,
cool.
dude.
What's the first
Not
thing you would
even
do?
as
Is
a dude. I would like to live in Emma's body, or your body, or yours, or
Why
yours,
is
or
that?
yours. I
Explain.
want to experience life from not my perspective. Like,
That'd be
when
crazy.
you wake up in the morning,
Sure.
I want to
got
know
you
what
this
you
year.
think about and how you see the world, and I want to know like why you think the way that you do. And the fact that I'm never going to be able to do that makes me really fucking angry.
Raven, I wish you could like spend 5 minutes inside of my head. I just want to know what you
Oh
would
no,
think.
I was in the bathroom, I was thinking about it, and I was like, wow. In all of my classes, I'm one of the smartest people, and then I'm like, I spend time with 1, 2, 3 autistic men, and I'm like, I'm a motherfucking dumb fuck. And I'm like, I wish that I could be inside of y'all's heads.
What's
That'd be
inside
so
of us?
cool.
I'm
Inside
I'm
of
not
us
gonna lie,
heads.
Raven. I want you to stay in the most frail and feeble body that is for the safety of other.
yeah, if you were any stronger, you would just
Oh my
assault
God.
people. In the
Okay,
street.
no, I'm not even lying. If I was a larger woman, or I feel like if I was a male, I would want to fight all the time.
Yeah.
I already want to fight all
She
the
literally
time.
says
Get
that
the
all the
boxing
time.
gloves.
She always says, "I want to fight." Yeah,
Anyways,
literally, you should
anyways.
box. Like,
Boxing would be fun.
get like they have gloves and you can box.
You
someone,
and
not me.
Emma could fight.
No, absolutely not.
I would-
Emma would not fight me.
I would fight you. Gender
I
equality.
would also fight
Yes,
you.
yes, fight
I'd
them.
rock your shit.
I mean, Raven,
That would be awesome.
Maybe I just do need to get clocked once in the face.
I would fight you tonight. I would
Hey,
actually
it's
knock you out.
safe.
It'd be
There's
safer to
gloves.
wrestle someone.
Aw, wrestling's fun.
Wrestling is so much harder than boxing.
Wrestling
Yes,
is
but
hard.
it's less likely to
Yeah.
kill.
Wrestling is
We do not
Mortal
want to.
Kombat.
It also
and there's that weird sexual tension where you have someone in a rear naked choke and you're like,
I know.
You
You,
talking
Talking
about
about-
dominating
talking
them?
about-
you somehow get stuck in the other person's ass. And just,
Yeah, you,
What are you
usually-
doing, step bro?
you lock your dick into their asshole to get extra grip. That way they can
Like a
There
shark.
was a video on,
like a
on
shark.
Reddit.
Yeah, just like
There was a video on Reddit that I saw where like people were literally like fucking going in and grabbing cheek to get a better
a Turkish
hold.
oil wrestling. Yeah.
No, this was like Greco-Roman.
Oh yeah, just like
God.
Like I'm gonna grab that cheek and it's gonna be my handhold. I'm up to rip ass
do
cheek
you-
to pull you up.
Do you remember that one time? Do you remember that one time in Walmart, like a year and a half ago, where you and Claire were there, and I walked up to you and smacked your ass like Mach 8 in the butt? No, it sounded like a gun went off.
Dave went. I was just in Walmart.
You
just
were so
imagine.
much taller than I thought you were.
He's like 6'4".
I'm 6'5". Dave comes up behind
This is
me,
tall as my stepdad.
and Dave is a big guy, and I was standing still, and David goes, and it was like the perfect slap. It was like, and I just go, and I was just like, in the half second I had to decide what to do. I just go.
His girlfriend was there too. She had no idea what
Claire
was.
was like, she didn't know who Dave was.
That is so weird.
I'm imagining like an anime moment where it's like his arms like bending back and it's got that perfect like.
It did.
It's like
It
5
did.
pages
And
of
then
manga.
you went up and you were like, because you can reach over my back really easy. So you did it from the top down.
I was
That's
like,
a power move.
Oh, did you do a
It's
dick
like-
slap?
who did that? I was like, am I about to fight in Walmart? Who initiated a fight like this?
Who initiates a fight like this?
A game.
That's a power
Hero.
move. Just like I'm gonna.
It very, it
I mean-
gets you caught off guard for sure.
I had no idea who it was, so in the millisecond of a decision, I was like, you know, honestly, I wish I could get a video of my muscles because I can imagine my body was just like,
Fight
mode! because I was like,
Biceps
some man
grown to
just
3 times
smacked
their
my
size.
ass to like make me look bad in front of my fiance, and I'm about to fight for my life.
You
and I
had
turned
that,
around
like-
and David's like,
I was actually standing like that.
You gotta describe.
I was doing the Yujiro stance. I was like. Like Ultimate Combat, no guard, Muhammad Ali style.
God.
Uh,
You probably had that moment of like calm rage where you like
My
black
heart
out
was
for a
like-
second and you're like, okay, I'm back now.
my heart was like,
this
it implodes. I
Oh my
die.
god, that reminds me of like the only time I've ever come close to a heart attack. I was in this hotel in Birmingham for the civil rights trip, and I was with me and Finn were sharing a bed together with the and we were in a room with 2 other guys who were like the like the people in charge of the trip basically. And it's my birthday night. It's like 1 a.m. And then I'm awoken by this terrifying scream coming from inside the room. So I'm dead asleep. What lady's scream happens? I wake up and my heart's going like 140 beats per minute from a resting heart rate. I feel like my chest is going to explode. Like it feels heavy. I'm like, what's wrong? Me and Peter are like, what's wrong? And the guy. And it was the guy in the other bed that had screamed like a woman. He's like, ah! I was just screaming because it was your birthday. And then he just goes back to sleep. And then I like
I
try
sense
to.
a lie.
And then I like roll over and try to have a heart attack. Like because I didn't get up and move. My body's like uncontrollably shaking and I can't stop laughing.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I'm like.
That's what it feels like to get in a fist fight. Like my first fist fight, like for a full 2 hours after, I was like this.
I remember, and then the next morning, I was like, "Dude, what the fuck was that?" He's like, "Sometimes I just scream in my sleep." I'm like, "You should really get that looked at. That's not
warn people.
That's
That
not."
is so.
No, he literally went, "Ah!" But like, I get it. It was so loud. It sounded like someone's being assaulted, like right next to me. Like,
That's so crazy.
Oh my goodness.
That's
what religion do you guys not like?
Scientology.
This is a legitimate question. You
Yes.
can't say no.
Yeah, get angry.
Hinduism only because they have that funky little clause in their religion where they're like, no, you're actually Hindu. You just worship one specific god. It's all part of the pantheon. It's like, oh, you dick.
Actually, I agree with you. Hinduism, because don't they have a god for prostitution?
We do too.
What?
Saint Nick.
Wait, what?
No, it's a patron saint. It's not a god per se.
Well, okay,
so it's like
Hinduism.
What does that have to do with? Wait,
Most religions have a prostitution god.
It's different though. A patron saint is like I'm looking after these people. It's not that they condone this behavior, as opposed to a lot of
Yeah, there's like the saint of like orphans. It doesn't mean they
Yeah.
want
Then they
orphans.
kill Pharaoh.
the Saint Jude, the saint of lost causes. Lost causes is great.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait, St. Jude's Children's Hospital sounds kind of fucked up. No.
yeah, that's why it is. That's why it
Oh,
is.
that makes more
Yeah.
sense.
bruh.
Bruh.
Dang,
Um,
But,
lost cause.
That is
Hey, you
true
kids are going to
for.
St. Jude's. Oh no.
That's a lot of true for a lot of pantheism.
Well, the
Is that they usually have a god for that because it was at least very common way back when, and so it became like a holy thing, and so they kept the god around. But you know, pantheistic faiths have gone
Oh.
out the window except for Hinduism.
I'm taking Hinduism now, and the theology is really frustrating because they are different gods, but they're actually all the same God, who's actually a part of this greater entity, which we're all a part of.
Atman is Brahman.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if someone took like 5 tabs of acid and then came up with a religion. It's what it sounds like. It's like the gods literally drink soma, which is a psychedelic drug. My favorite Hinduism. You know that one god that has an elephant head?
Ganesh.
Ganesh. He wasn't born like that. So Shiva, in a drunken rage, started beheading all these people at a dinner party. Then he accidentally hits his own son, Ganesh.
Oh my
then his
God.
wife is like, dude, you just killed our son. And Shiva's like, fuck, gotta fix this. So he's like,
Why?
he's like, what is the nearest head? An elephant. Bam.
Why not
so
his
he kills
own head,
No, so
though?
he kills an elephant, slaps that head on Ganesh, and now Ganesh has an elephant.
Why
head.
not put Ganesh's head back on?
It's Indian theology, damn it.
To
It
make
makes
it
no.
cooler.
Yeah, I guess that is.
Same thing with
cooler.
Buddhism.
Because it's already killing it.
Every Buddhist story is like a saint was walking with Buddha, and he asked the Buddha what he wanted for lunch. The Buddha replied, "If you have to ask, then you do not know." Then he shot someone in the face, just murdered him, and that's how the story ends.
I love that though. It sounds so like wise.
I still love the Egyptian myth of Horus and where Horus's uncle rapes him, and to
Oh
get
my
back
God.
at him, he's like, "Oh no, my uncle, he dominated me. That means I can't become Ra when Dad dies. Ra, my dad dies. I can become Ra. Instead, my uncle will become Ra. I better jack off onto this piece of lettuce and feed it to my uncle. Ha! You ate my semen. Ha! I am better than you.
That is a thing.
That's an
It's
actual.
100% a thing.
Like no, Egyptology's filled
Oh my
with that
gosh.
stuff.
It's whack.
The way that Earth came about, or the way that people came about in Egyptian religion, was the god of the world just like kind of walked up to the Nile and
Oh, God.
jerked off into the Nile, and people just, I'm alive.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
he made.
It didn't makes me
I
freak
think it's
out.
Ra
Yeah.
made a giant rock at one point and was like, "Huh, I like that rock," and then just decided, "Oh, I'm just gonna suck my own dick." Like, he can't swallow his own cum because that's gay, and so he spits it on the rock,
Wait,
and then that's the
literally?
oceans.
Yes, this is actually true.
Yes.
What? Wait.
It's all semen based.
It's also
Invented
pharaohs
this.
would yearly jack off into the
The
Nile
Nile.
to promote agriculture.
For
Yeah.
Yeah,
They haven't done that. They haven't done that in like 2,000 years. Look at Egypt now.
Egyptians like no.
It's all sand.
If,
It's all sand.
if we got all the most holy men in the world and jacked off into the Nile, it would become fertile again.
Damn.
Facts.
That's so
Facts.
true.
Facts.
Dude, like Egypt, it's
like
like
that-
the
that nightmare of, like,
sperm-based
getting-
mythology.
That's like one of those nightmares of like, if you swim in the same pool as a man, you can get pregnant, or you sit on the same toilet seat. If you swim in
Oh,
that
yeah.
Nile at that point, I think you would get
You will
pregnant.
get pregnant.
That's actually.
I mean, does saltwater kill sperm?
Yes.
Oh hell
Yeah, but how long?
Oh hell yeah.
So you're saying if you have sex in the ocean, you don't need to wear a condom. That's what I'm getting.
yeah. Nice.
As soon as
If
If you have sex in the
That's
ocean,
right, Dave.
Get
go to the
saline
hospital.
solution.
Yeah.
Your-
Dead.
Ew, that would be really bad.
Your vagina is fucked.
Mom,
How are you
your
just
your
put
pH in your
saline
vagina just
solution
become.
Oh my god, saline
It's the
solution in the
bidet.
bidet and we will never get pregnant. We'll squid it up. Okay.
Ah!
Get an IUD.
Baby.
Oh yeah.
An
There's
IED?
Yeah. So you don't
That'll do it. Oh, boy.
Put a bomb in your.
Do not put saline solution up your vagina unless you are a medical professional, please.
I am not a medical professional and I will not do that.
No, fucking do it.
Good call.
Raven, what's your least favorite religion? Be controversial. Be brave.
No, I'm not brave. I'm not controversial. Right now I'm not in the mood for that.
Why not?
Because I said.
Don't worry, Raven. We know.
I respect that.
You don't have to
Hey,
say
trust me,
anything.
here's a finger for you. And it's not a thumbs up.
Raven, how do you feel about Germany from the years of 1939 and 1944?
That's
Be
not
vague.
a religion. Be vague. Thumbs down.
Bad.
I still fucking hate you for last semester.
Why Hitler was mid.
No.
Why Hitler was mid?
Hitler was. Who would win a fight? Hitler versus FDR if FDR didn't have polio.
FDR
Oh,
would
FDR
win.
would win.
Are you
Totally
kidding?
win.
Dude,
you
no,
seen
Hitler's
Hitler?
on so much meth.
Yeah, no, he
You ever
couldn't
get to
feel
a meth
pain.
fight? Yeah.
Yeah, but FDR's richer. He just hires someone else to beat him.
And he's an American.
And
It's an
and
American.
strong
anytime that
American.
FDR taps out, the more masculine Eleanor will come in.
Whenever you
Yeah.
said that, it reminded me so much of your grandmother, Sandy.
Really?
Yes.
That's so
the way
funny.
that you said it, just like he's
I
an American.
I was watching this documentary about like the world wars, and it was in their main leaders, so Stalin, Patton, FDR, Churchill, Hitler, and it showed this FDR clip about how FDR met Eleanor, and it cut to like a scene where he was jerked off by his cousin in a fucking like automobile in a field. I'm like, I don't think this is necessary.
It's
I feel like
necessary.
it is necessary.
I don't want to
How
see
am I
him
gonna
jerked off
relate?
by a girl with the same last name as him.
That was too good. Stop.
Heston, would you fuck your fourth cousin?
Absolutely not.
It's fourth. You're not. You're legally not even related.
You wouldn't even know, honestly, if someone was your fourth cousin.
I think
Ooh,
most.
I almost
I think
matched
most.
with my fourth cousin.
Oh, nice. Wait,
On
why
average-
didn't you?
What's the average cousin
realize he was my
relation
fourth
like?
cousin.
Oh.
36, right?
Yeah, we're all like 36 cousins.
Oh, that's really far.
statistically.
I bet in America it's even shorter because of our like limited.
Oh, in Utah it's
Well,
like 8.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I
Utah!
think that's global.
We
If
should
you go
talk
to
about
any
Utah
country, it gets
sometime. We should
pretty
talk about
close.
the Mormons. We should talk
Those are
about
countries. Oh my
gosh,
the culture
wait,
that
guys,
happens within the colleges in Utah.
The culture's hilarious.
I would love to come back and do another podcast if we do this thing that we did whenever over spring break we drove to Arlington and we just did tier list for states and countries.
Oh,
So entertaining.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
do it for religions.
Absolutely.
Do not.
Okay, well, I think we're about to wrap it up. I want to leave the audience with one last fun fact. An estimated 0.2% of marriages in the United States are between individuals who are second cousins or closer. That means that there are about 250,000 people in America in those relationships.
That's small and big at the same time.
Just a little fun fact for
Fun
your
factoid.
Tuesday.
Have a great night, people. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's try to make it point
We should
three.
read about.
Being
We should
awesome.
read about from Genesis 3 when